Hit the like and subscribe button right now or else this guy will kiss you tonight. Ask/Reddit by Reddit Habbits. What is the worst thing that you've seen a coworker do and still avoid being fired? A guy at the plant I work at scrapped $360,000 in airplane parts because he didn't even bother to look at the work instructions. He just drives a forklift now. When you realize $360,000 in airplane parts is like one sub-assembly. One particular type of screw on my old jet was about $10,000 for one single screw. Stole a bunch of Mark tools. They were painted white. Showed everyone in the shop pictures of his deer with set tools in the background. Gets reported. Boss calls him on it. He said, "You got me. I stole a gallon of white paint." Never heard the boss laughing so hard. Year later or so he gets promoted, lol. Damn, that's some quick thinking. Worked with a guy who punctured the main gas line to our shop 3 separate times. It was a construction company and he somehow was still my superintendent, although he could have blown up the shop. My dad's foreman once put gasoline in something that needed water and ruined an entire asphalt driveway. He's old and forgetful and only works to get away from his wife. I knew an elder gentleman who accidentally primed a well pump with the 5-gallon jug of kerosene rather than water. After that incident, the tap water was no longer allowed to be used for anything food related. Accidentally send the last 3 years of account details / back statements from one company to their direct competitor. How I came close to this. Within my first few months out of college, working as a design engineer, copy and pasted what I then realized was a confidential proprietary design that we created for a competitor of the client. My boss admitted blame. He signed off and certified it without realizing I had copied it from a proprietary job until I told him that was my reference material after the job was issued. We have a big database of industry standard reference material we use, but he also said I could use previous jobs as reference designs. However, I was unaware at the time that some of our corporate designs were proprietary. We agreed that, at the level of experience I was at and the training I was given, I wasn't fully expected to know that at that stage. Needless to say, I've not done it again. That is how it is supposed to work. People make mistakes. Different from the casual bastardry that is a lot of these replies. When companies don't do what yours did, employees just get better at hiding and blame shifting mistakes. Worst coworker ever was the credit mooch. He would constantly horn in on other people's projects, getting his name added to them to make it look like he was doing S when he actually not. If people tried to assign him any work on said project, he would have a personal emergency or a virus would make him lose all his work, or his schedule is booked with other project, or the worst, he would pull some sucker in to help him with it, and said sucker would end up doing it all in utter frustration. Because he was so good at stealing credit, he managed to get top marks on his reviews despite doing absolutely zero actual work for the company. I know at least 4 people quit due to this guy getting better raises than they did. Far as I know, they never actually got rid of him. That's middle management material right there. No, that's a straight shooter with upper management written all over him. Had a coworker as a standard business practice falsely condemn furnaces in winter to pressure homeowners into buying new systems and pad his commission check. I couldn't do anything as I had no direct proof, but he would joke about it all the time. It did finally catch up with him when one customer smelled BS and called other companies with advanced testing machines. Took those results and sued the poop out of him. I ended up working for that second company and haven't looked back. If he's licensed, it should be revoked on those grounds. That's beyond immoral and makes honest tradespeople look bad. Sued the poop out of him. Superb. This dude walks a server out of the server room every 6 months or so to sell on eBay. We have literally no security except the front door, but the owner is so ancient and out of touch I doubt she even remembers things are being stolen. We had an IT guy that was stealing old laptops after we replaced them for employees with new ones. Funny thing was that we didn't give him a raise for 5 years since we knew about it, and apparently he didn't want to quit either out of fear of being discovered or due to the extra money he was making. His raise would have been worth more than the laptops, so we just let it continue. His raise would have been worth more than the laptops, so we just let it continue. No problem with the lack of character issues for an IT position. Seems like a big security risk. After already being disciplined and essentially demoted for doing his job terribly, my coworker drunk texted all of our managers in the middle of the night asking why they didn't love him. It's been about 2 weeks and I haven't seen him since, but he's not gone. Not the worst thing he could have done, but I cringe thinking about it. Not the same thing, but I drunkenly sent a dick pic to my work group chat, and I'm still absolutely mortified till this day. Edit. Adding more info. Oh god, this is most attention I've got on Reddit, and it's about my dick lol. Yes, this is exactly what happened. It was on Snapchat. I was sending pics to another guy. For everyone asking, yes, they wanted me to send it, not just sent out of the blue lol. We sent a few pics back and forth and someone wrote something into the work group chat, so I accidentally chose to send it there, and before I knew I had pressed send. I knew immediately the second I pressed it I was deemed. They started opening it immediately. I just typed in that I was so embarrassed, but they were all pretty cool about it and sent me private messages of support and vowed to never mention it in work. I still am so embarrassed though. Definitely most embarrassing moment of my life, and I'm clumsy by nature. Tip: if you leave a group chat on Snapchat, any snaps you've sent into can no longer be opened. Wish I knew that beforehand. I'm just glad it wasn't on Messenger or WhatsApp where the picture would still be shudder. Yeah, that's worse. Guy at my wife's old job was brought in because he was really good at selling the services they provided. Proceeded to send dick pics to the women at work and solicit nudes from them. Women said to stop or they'd take it up with management, and it subsided some. Solicited nudes from a new chick who asked my wife about it, and my wife went to management with everything and said, this guy's out or I'm quitting. Well, she quit. Guy's still there, but most the original female staff has quit. Money talks. Dudes bringing in more money than the sexual harassment issues. S is dumb, but if it's not a huge company, then that's definitely why he's still there. Small companies will let insane poop slide, money and poor management reasons alike. Had a boss storing pictures of himself in only his wide open bathrobe on company servers. It was reported 2 hours, but wasn't fired for it. Later he was arrested as part of an undercover sting, where he thought he was meeting a 15-year-old girl about 500 miles away. Way too many questions/comments to reply to all of them. More details. The images were stored in a shared folder used by a few employees. The guy was our IT manager, so he should have known better than storing them there. Assuming the pictures were taken using a work camera, because digital cameras were very expensive at that time and the company had a few. Before he left for the weekend to meet the girl, he had asked to use the digital camcorder I had for work. He told me he needed it to make a video of his home possessions for insurance purposes, but I was suspicious of that, so I told him I needed it for work. We found out he was arrested when he called the computer room collect from jail. This was later in the evening, when he no-showed for work that day. We didn't accept the charges, but called back later to see what he was charged with. At that time we were told solicitation of a minor, but the whole details came out later, when he was on the local news station. For the ones that doubt the story, https://arrestfacts.com/RickyGutsma1T to K7. And I would walk 500 more, just to be the man, to walk 1,000 miles, to get handcuffed by your door. HR rep found out about a person's elective surgery and made fun of her with a former employee. Let me recap. This person knew about an employee's private medical information because she worked with our healthcare plan in her role as HR and shared that private information with another person for the sole purpose of mocking the employee. She was not fired. That's not just worthy of being fired, that's 100% illegal. Edit. Please look for yourself. It's not illegal in jurisdictions. Drill a hole clean through a condensate line and have the ceiling of a 3-car garage collapse when the drywall gave. Me, I'm that guy. RMA. How did you not die? Barely. I had 3 days of in my office. Now I was honest, it was one of those jobs with more than one teams of 2, and another guy was the lead. But as soon as I saw pictures of the devastation I knew it was my fault. I told my boss that wasn't X's fault. I did that. I made a 1 in a million shot. I couldn't do it again if I tried. My boss said my honesty saved my job, but I'm at 2 strikes right now. That policy saved my ass too. Blew up a fairly expensive phase converter in my 2nd month as an apprentice electrician, through equal parts sloppiness and ignorance. My boss came in the next day and asked why there was a burnt up freck drive in the shop, and I told him exactly what happened. He just kinda gave me a little poop and told me not to do it again. Turns out my journeyman told him what happened already, and if I'd said anything besides what I said he was gonna king me on the spot. Own your fuck ups, it's generally the best policy. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our daily videos.